everything.
Alright guys, so we are in make friendly dates or friendly date ranges. This is actually going to be split up into probably 2 or 3 videos just because it's such a long, tiring process explaining the code just because there's so many steps. So first, what we're basically trying to do is be able to get in a date and have it return a certain way based on what's going on. So in this first one, it's within the same month, so you'll notice it returns July 1st and then 4th. Now, there's a couple different ways that we can go about doing this. The way I did it was I split it up into an array to start each one of these. So I'd have a var date1, which would be our first date, is equal to our r0. Dot split. So we're splitting it on the dashes. And you'll notice that they all take in dashes, so it's okay to do that. And we're gonna go ahead and create date 2 here, and we're gonna split that as well. And we're gonna put comments in, and we're gonna explain as we go. So split array into year, and then I believe it goes year, month, and day. Alright, cool. So that's what we're doing here. Let's check as we go. So we'll go ahead and return date 1, and when we run it, you'll see that it's been split up. Cool. The next sort of thing that we should do is we're gonna eventually get the month name. So 01 would return January. So we're gonna create a month name variable. So store name of months. So we're just going to create a variable called month names. Call it whatever you want, and it's going to contain all of the month names. So that's going to be January and so forth. So just to save myself a little bit of time, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste in my month names real quick. Cool. So, what do we do from here? Well, depending on, there's a couple things. One is that we can't necessarily pass in our month name without changing it, because when we use a how can I explain this? Alright, so let's go. When we return date1 slash date1 index1, our month 07, we're actually later going to pass this variable into a function that we're going to call day change, and we actually have to truncate that 0. The way that we can do that is we can go ahead and run this number function on it, and it will break it down to an integer level. And there you go, see right there? So we're just going to go ahead and reset those values for a later date right now. We can go ahead and do it. Turn strings into nums for month. So we're going to go ahead and set date 1. We're going to set the month of date 1 equal to number date 1. And we're going to actually minus 1 from this, because we want the month to coincide with the index value. So 07 is actually index 6. So that's why we're minusing 1. We're going to go ahead and do the same for date 2. And there's date 1, date 2, minus 1. So let's go ahead and return. If we return date 1, it should now come back as 7. Date is not defined. Oh, date 1 and date 2. There we go. So see, now we're getting our 6. So now when we want to actually log out the correct month based off that input, we have our months array. We just have to input it there, and that's going to give us our correct month. So July is the 7th month. Perfect. Now in this first one, this first checkoff, now that we have our kind of a little bit of it started, let's get this first check mark. Make friendly dates. Takes in an array both in July. In the first part of the array, only passes in the month and the day, and changes, adds the first or the fourth or whatever it may be. And then only for the second index, index 1, passes in the day since it's in the same month. So it looks like we're going to be outputting an array. Might as well create an array. Array to return. So we'll go ahead and call this var date array. We'll just set it to an empty one. So we want the month, easy enough, and we want to right here return date array at some point. We're gonna have to do some logic. So we want to return date array. Now date array is unique in the fact that the months are equal, so maybe we should do an if statement for that. So we can say if date 1, index 1, is exactly equal to date 2, index 1, we want to return this specific type, because if you remember, there's a whole bunch of case statements, so we're definitely going to need some if statements. So a good place to start. So right here, we can go ahead and take our date array and start pushing things to it before we return it. So what do we need to push to it? We need to push the month's name, and we have to concatenate this. So let's just make sure our month name is working. So we can go ahead and push month names, and then right here we'll go ahead and put date 1, 1, and let's make sure our date array is working. So it should return July date array. Let's see where is our error? Oh, our error is right here. There we go. So we return July. Perfect. Now we have to do this first. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. I just created a nested function right here called day change. And we're just going to do one case by case. And we'll edit the code as we go along. It'll make much more sense than just, this is what I did for this. And then you have to, I think if we go case by case. So we're going to set an if statement up here that says if day is exactly equal to 1, we want to do some stuff. So if it's equal to 1, we're only testing for the first case. We want to return the day. We want to return day plus concatenate it with st. So day 1 is first, day 2 is second. Now right here, let's go ahead and before we do anything, so we have this. So now we need to concatenate a space here. So we're following the format here, and then we want to return our day change, passing in the date 1, called date 1, and then day was, it went what year, month, day 2. And don't forget, we're gonna, because they could have the number on it as well, we're a 0 on it, we're gonna run the number function on that here, and probably actually it'd be better to do this like above. So we could do date 1 index 2 equals to number. This will probably just help keep our code a little bit cleaner. And we're not minusing anything here, we're just simply returning it. 2 date 1. There's that. So we just want to go ahead and do this. Now let's go ahead and run our code and see if it's working properly. So we have our July 1st. Okay, we're halfway there for this first check off. Now all we have to do is add an array, data array.push, and in here we're going to do the same thing, month, oh excuse me, not. For this one we're only returning the day, so we want to call our day change function, and then we want to pass in date 2, index 2, our day. Now the only thing here is we haven't written logic to concatenate that yet. So we did if day is equal to 1. So let's go ahead and do an else statement. We can always change this later. It just turns out that we won't need to. So day is plus the concatenation of th. So if it's essentially at the end of the day is there's more th's than anything else, so we wrote logic for everything else and left an else statement for like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So right here we have day is equal to 1, and then we return th. So let's go ahead and run it and see if everything's going well. So we got our 0/4. Now that's my fault. I should have changed both values as we were going along. So this is just because of the 04 date that's input. So we're just going to go ahead and do exactly what we did before with number. And there you go. There is our first check mark. Now this is already at 11 minutes, so I'll do a part 2 and we'll start checking the rest of these off. I hope this helps you guys get started though. And as always, thank you to everyone supporting me on Patreon and not watching with Adblock. That's dope too. And I'll have a video out as soon as possible. Don't forget to check out wayup.com. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and support me on Patreon. Check out wayup.com. It's a great way to find full-time jobs, internships, part-time jobs, and one-time freelance work for the college student. All you need is a .edu email. It's completely free, and you'll help me out in the process too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.